What's good, y'all? It's Yungavelle here, back at it with another video. Hope everybody's doing well. I'm here again with my brother
Darius, the Reiki Shaman on Instagram, Darius Lorenzo Wickfall on Facebook. I am Divine on Instagram as well.
I'll put all his contact information in the comments section so you make sure you follow him. So we just passed through a massive portal this weekend, and you know, we were fortunate enough to share in that portal with plant medicine to help us on our path. So we're just going to share our experience.
Our Lionsgate experience.
Yeah. August 8th is known as the Lionsgate portal, and it's kind of a portal where the veils between dimensions get a little bit thinner. I believe our star and our solar system gets in alignment with Sirius, the star system Sirius, and that's always a big alignment. So it was right on time for us to, you know, step into some healing that we all feel that we needed.
Absolutely necessary.
So yeah, we're just gonna share our experiences, man, and just kind of dialogue and just chill out. So thanks for joining us, man. I know for me, I had a couple intentions going in. One of my main intentions was I want to release everything that's not serving my highest good, and the highest good for the next level of myself as the best version of myself, so I can move into a more serene, calm state of mind. Because I've been on the self-development path so much, it's like go, 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 but I wanted to just, you know, breathe, and I don't want to lose myself in that. So
right.
I remember there were some points during the ceremony where the music was taking me.
Yeah.
That was the first feeling of where I felt like my heart, like I was getting pulled like this, and man, I was feeling like there were cracks happening in this area.
Heart chakra,
yeah, and whenever I would get those cracks, I would think about something like my mom, or like just being grateful to be here in this moment with these people. And I just started bawling, like those deep, like we were saying, the deep guttural cries.
Release.
Oh my gosh, it was like, and it was those good cries, you know.
Yeah.
But it could also be like I felt like I was releasing stuff.
Well, tears and crying during ceremony is a purge.
Purge,
yeah,
right?
Purge, yeah.
So one of the key like experiences for people during ceremony is purging, and there are many different ways of purging. I'll let you talk about that and one of the experiences that you had.
Yeah, man. I was really grateful to sit for the Lionsgate. I think this is like my favorite Lionsgate thus far. And the Lionsgate is very special to me because my connection with lions and my connection with the divinity Sekhmet, the Egyptian religion. And you know, I've done maybe about 7 grandmother ceremonies, and the last 2 have been very enjoyable. You know, like I wasn't purging. I didn't purge per se. You know. And so this last one was really nice to, you know, because the plant medicine is like a grandmother. So in order to really reap the benefits and receive what she has, you have to be able to sit, you know, like you sit with your grandma. You know, you have to be able to sit and be patient and listen to what's being said. So I really got to do that this time without any of the hard emotions. You know, when you first start doing with plant medicine, it's a lot of emotions you have to work through because you get to see yourself. You start to really be able to observe yourself from a different perspective, from a somewhat higher perspective, and a lot of emotions filter through, and the ego gets challenged. You know, you get to face your ego, and your ego gets challenged, and because your heart, you know, the medicine is opening your heart. So I didn't have to deal with a lot of those emotions this time. You know, I had a little something came in, and then I sat with it, and I sat with grandmother, and I you know, was told like it's all right. Like that was a major lesson for me. Like just set into things being good. You know, like you kind of wait for something to go wrong because things have gone wrong. You know, but it's okay for things to be good. You know, even when things kind of get derailed, it's still okay. It's still good. Like it's still going in a good direction. So
Expect good things.
expect good things. Yeah, yeah. And that was a major thing for me, just to be able to just sit and be present with the medicine. And you know, I had a lot of visuals, seen a lot of different things. But to be able to sit with the medicine and be in a space of joy and like comfort and know I'm in the right position and know I'm in the right place, I feel like I'm doing my task. I was a firekeeper for the ceremonies. I keep the fire. So to keep the fire and be on plant medicine is a juggle. But I felt really comfortable in my position and felt really satisfied with that. So, you know, there's many different ways people purge. You know, releasing, you know, what's in the stomach, burping, yawning, crying, stretching. So when I felt that urgency to like, you know, purge, I was able to kind of burp and like shake it out, and the energy dissipated and the nausea dissipated. So it's a great thing to purge because the body stores energy and the body stores experiences.
Man, I never yawned so many times in succession than I did when we took the first cup. Man, it must have been like at least 25 yawns in succession.
Wow.
And it was interesting because my mouth, I wasn't allowed to, you know how when you yawn, you reach a point where it's like your ears almost pop? So it was like right there, and then it would stop, and then I wasn't allowed to close my mouth until I get that pop.
Oh, yeah.
So it was like I was like releasing thing after thing after thing after thing. Like I'll be done with one, another one come right after that. Now I'm like, man, this is an interesting way of purging.
Yeah.
Like this is my 5th time sitting, and I haven't purged in that way before. And it was a different feeling, but a good feeling because it was enjoyable. You know, it wasn't like slumped over and like, don't get me wrong, there were times where I did feel incapacitated, where I'm like, there's no way that I'm moving. But I felt the grandmother's presence inside me as a blanket that I could trust throughout the experience, which allowed me to kind of just surrender and just feel like there's this, whatever's going to happen within me is going to be for my benefit. So just, there's that word again, benefit. There was one point in the ceremony where we were standing up and I just kind of had my hands folded, and you know, I was just in it, you know, my eyes closed, and then I just see a flash of the word benefit. And it was clear as day, just benefit.
Yeah.
And I haven't had like any profound visualizations like that where people say I saw so many crazy things. Normally I could sense things. But this word benefit was
Very clear.
Very clear. Very clear. Another thing too, which I feel like was a predominant like feeling for the ceremony, was the presence of ancestors. And that was new to me, because when I was in the jungle, there was no mention of ancestors or anything like that. Although I'm sure that they were present, we acknowledge them in this space in a way that I haven't felt before. And it made me start thinking about my ancestors, you know, and I don't have that many. The only ones that I know of consciously that have passed on are my 2 grandfathers, and one of them, I've been blessed that one of them, when he passed away, he would still come to me in dream time, and he would share with me things, and it would be so vivid that I know that it's more than a dream, that it's actually, he's with me. And it would move me, and being in this space where everyone was already acknowledging that and inviting ancestors in, that was another place where I just started thinking about the love that the ancestors have and the love that my grandfather has for me to come back, to stay with me, after he's transitioned. And it was another space where my heart cracked open and I started bawling again, deep, just thinking about like that love, how love is so powerful that down the lineage that it transcends space and time. I remember you were saying you had a vision where you saw yourself. You were really timeless, you said, because you saw yourself moving through different.
Yeah.
But
so
it was still you.
Before I get to that, you would now be considered an ancestral custodian. Because when you're already an ancestral custodian, but now that you have more awareness of the importance of working with your ancestors, you're officially the ancestral custodian. Because if your ancestors are coming to you, that means that you're the one to interface and be a point of contact for your ancestors and your family. It's usually the younger ones, the younger generations that become the ancestral custodians because we still remember, especially in our generation. So I just want to let you know that you're an ancestral custodian now, so you can clean things up, man.
I had that vision too. I gotta get an altar.
Yeah.
That's what it just felt like. That's one of the next things that I need to do.
Yeah. And I had that experience. So at some point in the night, these beings called the Ancient Ones came in, and they were present, and they were stirring up the energy, and you could feel the vibrational shift in the room. You could feel like, all right, a different energy is here. Something. It felt heightened, and I was sitting down. And at this point, this is after the second cup. At this point, I was kind of floored for a bit, because like I said, I was keeping the fire, so I was going in and out, dealing with the fire. But I couldn't move for a good 40 minutes, and within that time, when the Ancient Ones were present, I was shown a very visual experience of being multidimensional. And I saw myself sitting just like I was in meditation style, lotus style, and then I saw different faces flash over me, and then the important part is what was the me, right? If my bodies were changing, and then I saw the background shifting as well, and it was shifting through time and space. So as I was sitting there, not only my face was shifting, but my environment was shifting through time and space. And it was showing me like, well, this is why you're Ancient Ones, because you've always existed. You've always been here, in one form or another. You've always been here, and space is literally shifting around you. It was shown, and it's interesting because like now I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about it. I'm like, I'm definitely walking through space. Like I have that experience. I have the experience of walking through space, and there's going to be time for us to go to the airport. But when in that state of mind, in that perception, all I can see was space moving around me. Time and space moving around me. It is because the me became beyond the body. So I have the experience of time here because I'm in this body. But my perception wasn't just my body.
Not just Darius.
No, I was shifting through different aspects of my being, my I am. I was seeing from my I am, and she was talking about I am right before that. So it really solidified the multidimensionality of our reality and ourselves, and it makes you ask that question. Well, how much more am I capable of? If my I am is so capable of creating an experience that I'm having right now, how much more am I capable of?
When I remember when that shift happened, when the Ancient Ones, the Royal Ones, stepped into the room, and I just felt like a different presence come from within me as well, where I just felt like, we are also royal, in our own respects. And I kind of was starting to feel that like that warrior feeling, where I felt like, because I wanted to get a clarity in the direction moving forward of the next phase of my life. You know, what's the best way to go about it? And it sounds so cliche, but those times when my heart was opening, you know, I started realizing, like, I am love at my more basal, like, beingness, feeling-wise, you know? And if I want to move forward as the best aspect of myself, then I have to infuse everything going forward with that love. Everything, my finances, my job, you know, even the little things, you know, being present in the gym, like being in a space where I'm authentic and I'm bringing my heart into it. And I kind of had like a foreshadow of just moving forward. Like I saw like there's like a hallway, like a space of me moving through these things that I want to create for myself as the best version of myself. Like I saw myself doing it. I felt like grandmother was giving me some sort of like impetus where like you could do it. I felt like I had that charge, that energy, that seed to really motivated to bring that about. So yeah, that was interesting, man. I remember when they came into the room and my whole space kind of shifted, feeling like there was energetic crowns being placed on us.
But very it's like you start to fill your whole being out. It's like you start to fill your whole body out, and you feel more empowered in every inch of your body. It's really nice.
Yeah, I also can remember this feeling because I came there with like feeling kind of tight in my chest area, and man, I remember just sitting. Although it wasn't uncomfortable, and like there was points where it was very uncomfortable. I just felt an overriding feeling of like I could breathe. Like I felt like something was lifted from me, and I purged really early on in the beginning with all those yawns. They happened in the beginning, and then throughout the rest of the ceremony, I was kind of in that space of like a sweet surrender. And you know, the songs were just there were a lot of people going through stuff, but I know that my breath, just focusing on my breath and remembering like, no, it's just my job is to just breathe. You know, my job is to just breathe, because a lot of times people have expectations of like, I want to see visions, or like I want to see this, and I was like that in my first ceremonies, and it didn't happen. It doesn't need to happen that way. So this time I was kind of just like really trusting, you know, really in a space of surrender, and I think it allowed me to like just kind of get the most out of the experience, which was different, you know, feeling that blanket of grandmother within me. And just, I saw everyone walking around, and I was like, man, it feels like, I know that grandmother is with each and every one of us right now. And I would close my eyes and see a whole bunch of like chords and strings in the room, and it just felt like there were so many more people in that room, in that space. Like I felt like the ancestors were with me, not just mine, but everybody's. And that was a different feeling within ceremony. I haven't been privy to that feeling until now. So, I mean, that's pretty much what I can recall. I mean, still in the phase of, you know, learning. There will always be an integration phase after the fact. And I definitely feel
still integrating,
but I wanted to just get on here and just share while it's still
fresh in your mind.
While it's still fresh.
Yeah, I think this Lionsgate, the ancestors was big in this Lionsgate. I think that was a major message of like, we here, the veil is thinning, there's a lot of things happening in your world, you know, there's a lot of things happening in the spiritual world, which is another thing I saw. There's a lot of battles happening in the spiritual world, you know, that are like unfolding right now. And you know, one major thing I saw, it's funny because I think I'm gonna create an ancestor tree, but based off of what I saw, where I had different ancestors, and it was like a picture, and you can see the ancestor head, and you can just see their hand, I mean this part here, and they're all pointing in the same direction towards me, but it was like, you know, like almost like a bubble that got smaller as it went towards me, and it all filled up with all ancestors, and then it just kind of like went into my back, and there was my hand there opening the door, and out of the door was coming light, you know. So my ancestor, I really felt, I was like, okay, and I really got to see how it's possible for the ancestors to work through us, you know. And one of the major things, you know, especially for everything that we got going on, you know, business-wise, and the things that you got, that you're creating, you know, that you're going to talk about in the future, you know, they're really saying like, hey, the more you do, the more of yourself that you can express, the more of you that you can bring forth, the more that you can learn, and the more that you can create, the more we can work through you. You know, there's so many of us here. You know, so the bigger you can dream, the more we can work through your dreams.
More outlets.
More outlets, yeah. The more you're fulfilling their dreams. Because if you can imagine, you know, if we're an ancestor, we go through our life and our dreams are not fulfilled. It's something we wanted to do, and we never got to do it, or we started something and never finished it. You know, energetically, those things are still there. So when we come forth with certain desires and different things like that. A lot of times we go back into our ancestry, and our ancestors had those same desires, or we're doing something along the same lines. So that message for this Lionsgate for me was really like, be all you can be so we can work through you. Like, the more you be you and become you and do all the things that are placed in front of you for you to do, the more we can work through you, the easier it will be, and the better time your family as a whole and future generations will have on this planet, easier time.
Man, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good place to wrap it up, because like we said, we're still integrating, but I think that's a great place to end it. Man, thank you guys for sticking around. Just so you guys know, like my brother mentioned, in the future I'm going to be taking this channel in a different direction. And it's still going to be geared along the lines of self-development, but it's going to be a little bit more expansive. So we're not just talking about retention and transmutation, although that will be a part of it, because I'll still remain on that path.
That's what got you here.
Yeah, so there still will be videos of that, but it's also going to be other stuff like this, because this is life, and life is big, you know, and I want to keep you guys, I want to share with you guys, you know, and if my path, if our path can inspire or put you on to something, or you just want to hear something different, I'd be honored for that. So I'll put my brother's information in the comments. Like I said, if you got anything from this video, be sure to share, like, comment, and subscribe. Crush the like button. Get that YouTube algorithm popping off for me so more people can see this. And like I always say, until next time, remember, a greater perspective can lead to a greater connection. Peace. I'm back here again with my brother Darius, the Reiki Shaman. Follow him on, yeah, just